What's up guys, I got this Tuff Bilt Tractor in here today. We don't really use it much, it's more for show. It's flooding itself through the carburetor, so I'm gonna get these spark plugs out and see what they look like. Thinking maybe it ain't firing, which is just creating a lot of fuel, so we'll see here in a second. I got this spark plug out. It's pretty fouled and dirty, so I already got the other side cleaned up with some sandpaper and a wire brush, so I'm gonna clean this side up. Take this wire brush and just give it a good little once over. Just roll it a little bit so I get all sides. And she's pretty clean, ready to go back in there. Snug her up right here. Put this boot on. See, you can see all the sediment, dirt in it. It's pretty dirty, but we'll get that changed here. Once I get these spark plugs, I'll go get a fuel filter and spark plugs for it and get this tightened. Put this boot back on here and we'll see what she does. Put the choke on. Got her fired up, she's running good now. Change that fuel filter and go get some new spark plugs. This thing will be ready. I let it run for about 5 minutes or so, and then I hopped on it to give it some gas to go, and it died. So I pulled the spark plugs back out of it and they were fouled again. So I cleaned them up, put them back in there, and I checked the oil, and the oil was way too full. I've already pulled out a quart or so, or half a quart, and I still got to pull out a little bit more. So I'm just using this little oil extractor. Start pulling the oil. Pull enough oil out of there. We'll pull this up. You hear it sucking all the way. Get all that oil drain in there. Now, I don't know if you can see or not, but took a little bit too much. Had to add a little bit back in there, but not too bad. Now I've got the oil topped off. We'll see how she runs now. Yeah, let me get the battery charged. I got the spark plugs out of it, and let's see if it'll shoot gas out. Then we know the carburetor float's probably stuck. It's shooting some gas out on that side for sure. Top off of it and see if we can look down in there and see what's going on. Get these 8mm zipped out. See what the deal is right here. So this carburetor only had 2 bolts holding it in. One went right there in that bolt hole, and the other one went right here to hold this wire and to ground it out. I've got the shut-off switch. I've got it unplugged. So now all we gotta do is unhook all these linkages for the choke and the throttle down here. Turn it and it pops those linkages out. Now after I got my throttle and everything unhooked, the only thing left is the gas line right here. This thing's leaking so much gas it's still coming out of it. I think there's a shut-off on it. Right down there. I got my carburetor out. I mean, it's still got fuel leaking out of it, so to the bench to start tearing it apart. These 4 screws right here, take them out so I can pop this top off. They're just Phillips head screws. You really got to push down on them, because if you don't, they'll strip pretty easily, and no one likes strip bolts. So we'll just get these 4 knocked out real quick. Just wiggle our top off. It might be a little bit stubborn, but it should come off. Here's our floats. Floats are right here and right here. See, that goes up and down that float. Pretty gunked up. It had them floats stuck. So we'll get this thing cleaned up. We may just give it a a bath in some of that carburetor cleaner, and she should be ready to go, hopefully. We'll get this screw that holds that pin for the float and everything. Let's get it out of there. It's pretty tight. To where we can pop this pin out. Push it out with a little screwdriver. Pull it out. And then your float and your needle should come out. Now, I'm not sure if you can see that on camera. It's a tad bit dirty down in there. Overall, it's pretty clean. It's the top side. But that bottom right there, I mean, it's gonna need some cleaning. We're gonna stick the top in first, because this bottom's got the electronic shut off on it. So here's my pin that holds the float and the needle in there. So here's the float. Then I'm just gonna stick my needle in here. We'll lower this down into this bath. We'll let it sit here for probably about, I don't know, 6 hours or so, just because I got some other stuff I can do. So basically what I'm doing right here is just getting everything out of the chem bath and getting it ready for reassembly, and it's going to be the same way it came apart. It's going to go back together. If you can't figure out how to get it back together, you shouldn't take it apart. You know, that's pretty self-explanatory. And then we hook the linkages back up, the gas line, and put the 2 bolts back in there and hook up the shut-off, and we're good.